Section 9.3, equations of circles. So this chapter is a lot of graphing different types of conic sections. So we're going to start with circles, or I guess continue on with circles. If you'll remember, the distance formula says that the difference between two x's squared plus the difference between two y's squared, if you take the whole square root of that, that is the distance between those 2 points. Now, if you're taking the distance from the origin, so then you just take x minus 0 and y minus 0, then you're going to end up with just x squared plus y squared. If you square both sides, you get rid of the square root symbol, so distance squared equals x squared plus y squared. The reason I have r here is because once we've gotten this equation down to this format, we have just described the equation of a circle with the center at the origin. And if that's the case, then r is your radius. So it's the distance to the edge of the circle. So if we are going to graph and identify the radius of equations, what we need to do is simply put it into this format. X squared plus y squared equals radius squared. And once we get into that format, the r is your radius. So let me show you what I mean. Here we go. In this equation, we've got an x squared and a y squared, but obviously they're on opposite sides of the equation. So simply add y squared to both sides and add this 4 to get it to the other side of the equation. So now you end up with x squared plus y squared, and that equals 4. Well, we happen to know that 4 is 2 squared, yes? So what we have now is the standard form of the equation of a circle, and that's really its simplest form. So x squared plus y squared equals radius squared. So now 2 is your radius. So in order to graph this, you don't even have to put points in. All you do is this. You're going to go, if 2 is your radius, you're going to go along the x-axis. Now we've said that this is if the center is at the origin. So we're going to start, all of the ones in this section, the center is at the origin. So you're going to start at the origin, and your radius is 2. And so therefore it's going to be 2 in all directions from the center. So then when you graph it, oh, lovely circle. So hopefully yours will be prettier than mine. There you go. So then you just graph a circle. You just draw a circle. So x squared plus y squared equals your radius squared. Move on. Let's go. All right. So now, if I'm given that it's not always so cut and dried. Oh, here's your point on the x-axis. That must be your radius. If I'm given a point that's not on one of either the x or the y-axis, this is the point -4, 7, and it's on the circle. It's on a circle with the center at the origin. I want you to write an equation. Well, in this case, what we can do is, the radius is going to be the distance from the center to anywhere on the edge of that circle. So we can go back to this distance formula, and then the distance is the same as the radius. So let's say the distance is the square root, so the distance or the radius is the square root of the x is -4, so -4 minus 0, remember, is your origin. That's your center, and we're going to square that, plus y, which is the 7 minus 0 squared. And now you don't have to put the minus 0 in every time. I'm doing that to show you. That's what you're doing. In this distance formula, you're taking x minus x, y minus y, but because the y's are 0, it doesn't matter. So -4 squared is 16. 7 squared is 49. So now the distance or the radius is the square root of 40, 50, 65. So the radius is the square root of 65. So to write an equation for this circle, this is just, there's our formula. So our formula is x squared plus y squared equals the radius squared. And we just found out that the radius is the square root of 65. So square it, and your radius is radius squared is just 65. So there's your equation. So find the radius and then square it, and x squared plus y squared equals that. That's all you do. Easy. Let's move on. Okay, so if I want the equation of a line tangent to the circle x squared plus y squared equals 61, and I want that tangent line to be at the point 5, -6. Okay, so we've got a circle, and we know by just looking at it that the radius is going to be the square root of 61. All right, so these are the things we know about. Oh, and you know what? I didn't say up here where it says identify the radius, you need to say radius equals 2. All right, oops, forgot that part. Okay, so now what we're going to do is this. What we have is we have a circle, and you know that tangent means that this line is going to touch the circle just at the one point, and it's not going to cross the line, the circle at all. So it's going to touch the circle at this point, but it's not going to go into the circle. So what we're going to do is this. We need to find the slope of, okay, let's just kind of, we got a circle, and we've got 5, -6 is down here somewhere. There's our point. So what we're wanting is, we want the equation of this line. So first what we can do is we can find out the slope from here to the center, right? Because that's 2 points on a line. We could find out the slope of this line. So to do that, we're going to take remember the y minus y over x minus x. So x 2 minus 1 and x 2 minus 1. Okay, so let's take the y is -6 minus 0 because the center is at 0. So and then the 5 is your x minus 0. So just -6/5 is the slope of this line here. So far, are you with me? Now, if -6 over 5 is the slope of this line, the radius at this point, what we want is the tangent. And the tangent is going to be at a right angle or perpendicular to this. So the slope of my tangent, so the slope of tangent is going to be the negative reciprocal. Remember, if it's perpendicular to, it's the negative reciprocal. So this was -5/6, so we're going to flip it and say this said -6/5. We're going to say 5/6, and because this was negative, our slope is going to be positive. So there's the slope of our tangent, and now we have all that we need. We have the slope, and we have a point on this line. So we're going to use the point slope form. So y minus the y minus -6 is +6 equals, there's your slope, 5/6 times x minus your x is 5. And now just work it through. So y plus 6 equals 5/6x minus 25/6. And I don't know how far down I can go. So now we're just going to subtract 6 from both sides. And that's a little bit tricky because we're dealing with fractions, but you can do that. Just give it like denominators. So this is -36 over 6. And so because they're both negative, you're going to add them. So that's what, 30, 40, 50, 61. So your final answer is going to be y equals 5/6x minus 61 over 6. And you don't have to make them into mixed numbers. You can leave it like that. Oh, looky there, right at the bottom of the screen. I did great. Okay, so once you get that, that's all you're looking for is the equation of the line. You're done. All right, and of course I have one more problem, but oh, look at the time. We got all the time in the world. It's a short video today. Circles are easy because they're so symmetrical. I love them, love them. Okay, so here we go. We've got a business owner, and this business owner is buying property. she wants to make sure, she or he, I guess I assume she, huh? This business owner wants to make sure that her property is within a 30-mile radius of the airport. She wants to make sure that she can get to that airport quickly to get her product. So she found some great property that she wants to, I keep saying she, I don't know, it's freaking me out now. All right, here we go. This property owner found some property, oh, good grief, now I'm making it silly. 10 miles west, 24 miles south of the airport. So here's the deal. Here's the airport. And we've gone 10 miles west, so 10 miles to the X, and we've gone 24 miles south, and we want to know, are we within a 30-mile radius? So the radius, where is that? Where is this? How far is the 30 miles? So here's our circle. Is this property within that 30-mile radius? All right, so what we need to do is this. We've got x squared plus y squared equals radius squared is our equation of our circle. So what we want is, we want to make sure that this x squared plus y squared is within 30 miles. So we want that to be less than or equal to 30 squared, because 30 is the radius. So all we're going to do is, the x value is 10. We're going to put in those numbers for x and y and see if this makes a true statement. So 10 squared plus 24 is your y, 24 squared, is that less than or equal to 30 squared? So then you just work it out and see if it's a true statement. So 10 squared is 100, and 24 squared, I worked that up earlier, is 576. Is that less than or equal to 30 squared? 3 times 3 is 900. Add that together, 676. Is that less than or equal to 900? It is well within the radius, so the answer is yes. It's within the radius, and this business owner should buy this property. It's a good one. All right? I think that's it. So the biggest thing is, make sure that you have either in your notes or in your memory, and I would suggest in your notes, especially for later on quizzes and tests, radius squared equals x squared plus y squared is your equation for a circle. All right? Let me know if you've got questions. See you later.